Hello again, my name is Nico Carver. My website is at nebulaphotos.com. If you're liking these videos, you can support me on Patreon. The link is in the description, or just subscribe. If you've gone down the rabbit hole like me and you've bought a computerized mount and cooled cameras and auto guiding and filter wheels and automated focusing, you'll quickly find that you just have a huge amount of cables to deal with. And so this topic we call cable management, dealing with all the cables, and it's actually a big deal in deep sky astrophotography. If you don't know how to manage all of your different cables, it can actually be a problem for you. A lot of beginners might have trailed stars or things that are sort of strange, and they don't know what's going on. And sometimes it's as simple as a cable got caught on something and then the mount can't track properly. So managing your cables is important for that reason. It's also important to save you time, and this is something that I really didn't get. I thought I was being really organized because I had a place where I put each cable. Then when I got there out on the field, I knew where that cable was. I would take it out, set it up. It didn't take that long, so I was like, how is this, how am I wasting time? I was just really unaware about how much time over the course of a year or years that was actually taking. Is actually just the process of look at this. So just the process of wrapping a cable. Like I try to put these Velcro things on each one, but even that, you're just going to end up at some point with somewhat of a cable mess. My full setup, I counted all the different cables. It uses over 15 cables. The most common type of cable is a USB cable. Of course, a lot of the different devices have to talk to each other or talk to the computer. The next most common kind of cable is a power cable, and a lot of these have a 2.1 millimeter power jack on one end and then some kind of custom on the other end. Or before I did cable management, what I would have a lot is the 2.1 millimeter on one end going to an AC to DC power block and then the AC plug on the other end. So these power blocks cables take up a lot of room in your box. They are more weight. They're more fragile, I think, because at the end here, this can get sort of like bent out of shape and break over time. You have to worry about where they're sitting so that they don't get too much dew on them. A lot of different worries with this. What changed for me with cable management is when my dew heater controller broke and I bought, instead of just a new dew heater controller, I bought a Pegasus Astro power box, the pocket power box. And this really changed everything for me because in addition to being a dew heater controller, the power box has these four 12-volt outputs with this connector. And so then what I could do is, instead of running a power inverter and all these power blocks, I just have my pocket power box running on the scope, and it gets power in from a battery or from AC, and then all my other devices are run out of that. Okay, here's what a fully cable managed system looks like with all of the cables and everything, all the devices and everything that you need on top of the imaging telescope. And it's using a Nikon DSLR here, a guide scope system, an automated focuser that has a motor controller up here. Or actually, sorry, that's the motor. This is the controller. Here's my Pegasus pocket power box. Here's something that controls the timing on my DSLR. And so you can see this is a lot of stuff. Some of the cables are still too long. I'm probably So for this one, it has to be that long because you can see that it's wired directly into the device. So sometimes you just can't get around things like that. And to me, it's not about the beauty of it so much as it is about it being just really functional and fast. So this is an idea, but you can see the whole thing is on a Losmandy dovetail plate here. I can turn the whole thing around. All the cables are above the plate. So it does work. And again, I've just been really happy with this. It saves me so much time. I've been so happy that I actually have bought 2 pocket power boxes because I now have an Orion Atlas and a Skywatcher EQ6R. I was planning to sell the Orion Atlas after I got the EQ6R, but instead I was bad and just built out another system. And I can switch the cameras between these two systems. Like if I want to put my ZWO onto this system, it's a pretty easy change out. But you can see with this system, since I did not have the ability to put the pocket power box on top of this lens, what I did instead was put it behind the camera. The way I did this is I just have a little ADM saddle there. It goes onto the mount here in the middle, and then on the front I have an ADM saddle with my guide scope, and on the back I have an ADM saddle with the pocket power box and my USB hub, which controls everything. I'll talk more about this soon, but this system is actually also automated focusing now. I have this Astromechanics lens controller right here in the middle, which then feeds into the USB hub and out to the laptop. So just to show you what 2 cable managed systems actually look like, they won't win any beauty awards, but they are very functional thanks to the power box and just getting everything on top rather than hanging off the mount. Next up in this series, I'm going to do a full review of the Pocket Power Box, going through all its different features. So I don't want to cannibalize that video too much here. But I just want to say that you don't have to get a Pocket Power Box after watching this series of videos. What I really want to emphasize is that cable management is worth it. So if you have some money and time to put aside to do it now. Don't wait. Because I waited a long time because my system just seemed to be working, and so I didn't think it was important, but I wish I had done it sooner. And the main reason that I wish I'd done this sooner is the time savings. I've put together a comparison here. I actually started this comparison over a year ago thinking that I would do this video, so that just gives you an idea of how long these videos can sometimes take me to finish. And so on the left here, you're going to see me setting up like I used to, where I would have all of these cables in this box. I would take out each one, unwrap each one, find out, where it goes. After a number of nights, this is basically muscle memory, but it's still unplugging and plugging in a cable each night to each device. Even that can be a drawback because I know from experience that just plugging and unplugging cables a lot wears those ports down, and eventually they can break for that reason. Or if you're doing it, under a red light or in darkness, it's hard to actually see which way it should go. If you accidentally force it, you can break a port. I know someone that happened to. So I think even that is another advantage, is that I just keep most things plugged in now, at least on the device side. I often unplug them from the USB hub. On the left, this is how I used to do it. On the right, this is my new system with cable management and a pocket power box. On the right, I am already done, and on the left, I'm still going here. So time saving is not the only benefit. For me, I run often now 2 systems at once, 2 complete rigs with a mount and computer and imaging camera, blah, 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 guide scope. And that takes up a lot of power to run basically 2 times the amount of devices. And so while using it, my old system with the inverter worked for just 1 rig, 1 night. Now with 2 systems, I have to be more efficient with my power use. And so that's another reason moving to the power boxes has really helped, because now everything is just direct current. It just goes from the battery, the power is distributed out to the 4 channels and directly into the devices. There's no conversion or inversion from AC to DC, DC to AC back to DC. A lot of times now I am also running off AC power, and another nice thing is the Pocket Power Box. You can buy an adapter to run it off AC. And so if I'm running off AC power, then I can just power my laptop separately off AC. When I don't have AC power on the field, what I do now for my laptop, so I'm not draining that big battery too much, is I just bought one of these big lithium ion USB-C batteries, and I can run my laptop internal battery down for a ways and then run it off this for another 5 or 6 hours. And so this works really well. Okay, here at the end, I just want to briefly mention this video has basically just been showing my journey with cable management, which to summarize was dropping all of my old power blocks and inverter and all of that and moving to the Pocket Power Box system, getting shorter cables, putting everything on top of the scope. If that kind of solution doesn't work for you, there's still other ways to work on cable management. One easy thing is to just get all of your cables that are running off your scope together like this. Get one of these, or get a lot of these Velcro straps. And then every 8 inches or so, just wrap all of your cables together like this. And so then they're all running off as one big thing that you can sort of see, rather than a waterfall of cables all coming off. And you can route these down so that they're not going to interfere with anything that the mount is doing. I've seen a lot of cool pictures of people who have done that kind of system for cable management online. It looks really neat. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm just going to keep it short, just sort of showing you my journey with cable management. But this is actually going to be a series of 3 videos. This is the first one. The second one is my review of the Pocket Power Box. And the third one is showing you how to make a custom travel box for your scope and imaging rig once you've done all of this cable management. Because the one thing that I didn't really think through is that after I have all of the cables set up on top of my scope, it makes it in some ways a little bit more fragile, right? Because I don't have any kind of case now that can contain all of that. So what I was doing when I first started was I was just like putting like pillows around it and trying to like seat belt it in. And I had an almost disaster with that, where the scope jolted forward because I don't think there was enough weight for the seatbelt to really keep it in its place. And it could have been much worse. I broke, I think, one USB cable that way. But that really motivated me to build out a case so that I could keep everything with the cables all intact on top of the scope, but it would be safe for travel. And so I'll talk through how I built that case. It's sort of an instructable video so that you can build a case for your system if you're interested as well. All right, thanks for watching, and hope everyone is having clear skies so far in 2020. Thanks.